Hey guys, how's it going? Daniel here. I hope you guys are doing all great right now. So today I want to guys share with you guys my top 4 editing apps that I use to edit my photos on the iPhone daily before I upload them to Instagram or before I upload them to my portfolio. So let's begin. So the first app is called Darkroom. So you probably guys already heard me talk about this app 1,000 times already, and I just can't stop talking about it because it is probably my favorite photo editing app on the iPhone right now. So what I like about, of course, Darkroom is that it just has a ton of features that you're able to do, and you're able to add and change a lot of stuff in your photos. So of course, one of the big things, of course, in Darkroom are filters. So you have, of course, you have a ton of filters here that you could choose from. But of course, I usually just like to choose from the portrait area if it's a portrait photo. Then I'll just go to portrait and then just start playing around with the filters to see which filter I like that goes along well with the photo that I have here. So I'm going to choose this one for this one. And then of course I could go into so much more detail, of course, in here to see how much like how strong I want the filter in the photo as well. And then of course we have the area where you can customize your photo and edit it much more deep inside. So of course I'm gonna of course play around here with the brightness. You can play around to see which how much you want it here, to contrast, of course. And so yeah, it's just one of my favorite apps right now on the iPhone to edit my photos before I upload them to Instagram. Usually this is my go-to app right now to edit my photos before I upload them onto the gram. So yeah, it's just a great app that I like to have and play around with it, and bring it and just have fun with it, of course, and just step up your photo game, of course, just using Darkroom as well. So yeah, and there's just a ton of stuff that you could do within the app to make the photo really pop and really uh, like bring it to life, of course. And yeah, there's just a ton of stuff they could do to it to really make the photo just really great. Next, we have Lightroom. So Lightroom, of course, is one of my other go-to photo editing apps whenever I'm taking photos. Sometimes I use when I'm usually I use Lightroom mostly to edit my DSLR photos. Sometimes I use it to edit my iPhone photos as well, but usually it's my DSLR photos that I use, just because it's the camera on a DSLR is like a little bit much more superior, of course, right now. But yeah, so usually, of course, I use Lightroom to edit like my product shots that I have here. So like, of course, I have an example here that I did a photo shoot of the Apple Watch right here. And so, but also another reason I like using Lightroom as well is because sometimes I get to switch from the iPhone to the iMac. So maybe if I'm editing a really big picture, and I just want to see every detail a little bit better and just have a bigger screen real estate, then I'll move it, of course, to the iMac. And thanks to the Adobe Creative Cloud, of course, it just makes it really easy to do as well. I could airdrop it as well. But yeah, it's just really fun to have Lightroom, of course, on the Mac, and then just or move on my editing to the iPhone. So that's one of the reasons I just like using Lightroom as well. And so yeah, the mobile version is really great. It's fantastic, and there's a ton of stuff that you could do. It has pretty much the same features like the PC version as well. And so yeah, you could just really make the photo really pop and just have fun with it, of course, until you find the setting that you really like to have. So as you can see, I love my photos to have a little bit saturation into them. So that's why I just like having the saturation really high up sometimes. But yeah, it's just a fantastic app that I highly recommend if you guys haven't tried it out. I highly recommend it if you're to the photo editing area. Even if you're using your iPhone to take photos, Lightroom does an amazing job of editing your photos as well. So yeah, it's just one of the best applications that you can use to edit your photography work before you upload them to the gram or to your portfolio site as well. Next, we have Prisma. So Prisma is a fun app that allows you to, of course, use pretty much AI to paint over your photos. So like you could take this random portrait that I have here, and then of course you could just have fun with it and just add, you could just add filters over it. So these filters of course are pretty much paintings kind of style to it, and it just uses the AI to create these cool looking photos to really just make your photo a little bit different if you want to upload them online, or you just want to just have fun with it and just see what your photo will look like with these type of colors and paintings and all that stuff. So like this one, I really like this one, so I'm gonna keep this one, and then I'm just, of course you can edit it a little bit more. But what I like about Prisma also is that you can also change the depth. So right now I have the background is the real wall background. It's not painted or anything like that. Or I could have the person, me, unpainted and the wall is painted, or both right there. You can't really see the difference with the wall, but yeah, it's mostly that right there. And then of course you could play around with the exposure, the contrast here. There we go. We're gonna play around with here. And then of course the saturation, you can play around with it a little bit more, the vibrance. So yeah, it's just a fun app to have and just play around with it, of course, just to make your landscapes a little bit much more interesting as well. And so yeah, I highly recommend it because it's just a really fun app to have, and yeah, you'll probably have fun with it while you're playing around with it as well. So there you go, that's one landscape photo, how it looks. And of course you could just go into so much more detail, of course, within the app right here. Next and not least, we have Retrocam. So just by the name of it, you kind of already know what type of app this is. This photo editing app allows your photos to have that retro style look to it. So like a cool way you could do it, of course, is like if we take a photo like this one here that I took, you could add themes to it. So I really like this theme, or this theme is one of my favorite themes. So we're gonna keep that theme right there. And then of course, when I like that theme, you could change it around to change the filter look to it as well, just by tapping it on the same filter. And so I just like this one, so we're gonna keep that one. We're gonna check mark it, and then overlay. So overlay, of course, allows you to really change the overlay of the photo here. So as you can see, you can play around with it until you find a style that you really like right now. But I'm gonna keep this one just because I like this one a lot. Or yeah, that one, I'll keep that one. And then of course you could go to textures. So in textures, of course, is adds the grain filter to it. So it has that retro look to it, just like what the app is named, Retrocam. So you can add grain to it. You could change the grain here and just have a lot of grain that you could add and change around as well. So as you can see, you'll have a ton of grain styles to choose from. I really like this one, even though the Darkroom has the option to add grain to it. I just like this, using this app for grain, just because of a ton of different styles of grain that you can really do, and just brings that retro look to your photo, which I personally really like and enjoy to look at. So I'm gonna add, we're gonna add this one. We're gonna add this one. I like this style, and we're good to go. And then of course you could go to filters, of course, if you want to add filters to it as well. It does support filters. I'm not gonna add any filters to it. Glitch, of course, you can add glitches to it, which is really cool. If you want to add that type of glitch, we're gonna keep that one then. Check mark it, and then of course one of my favorite things, of course, is adding style dates to it. So you could kind of see where it is if you see the top bottom right corners right there, or top right corner, top left. And so yeah, it's just an amazing app. And then of course you could change the lettering size a little bit, the font size a little bit more, and then of course you could change the date as well, and change the style as well, which just mostly changes the color as well right there. And then when you're happy with it, if you want to add frames to it, of course you could. I'm not gonna add any frames to it. You could change it to 916 as well. I'm gonna keep it 4:5, and we're gonna exit it. We're not gonna change anything. And so yeah, you could adjust it here a little bit much more, the saturation, of course. I'm a big fan of saturation. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. So, and then we're done with this edit and you're done to go. So that's pretty much it for the top 4 photo editing apps that I highly recommend you guys go and download and must have on your iPhones if you guys are editing photos on your iPhone before you upload them to Instagram or other sites. then yeah, I highly recommend these four to have fun with and just really step up your photo game as well with your iPhone. So that's it for now, guys. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to the channel because that does help a lot. And as always, I will see you guys later. Peace.